Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Friday night. It's 9 o'clock. The kids are asleep. Everyone can sit back, crack a cold one, pour a stiff one, roll a green one, and chill out and relax. Enjoy another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It is me, your host, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin, and tonight I have a very special guest. This dude, I hadn't seen much of his work, I'm going to be honest. And the thing that I did see where really I drew eyes to this guy was a promo that he did when he was going up against Robbie Eagles. And to me, the promo was one of the best promos that I had seen in a long time. I want to talk to him about, his promo style, his character. But before I bring out Mr. Matt Gage, I want to take a quick pause, if you will, to thank some sponsors. Now, first up is A-Rock Designs. Now, A-Rock Designs is that company you have always heard me bragging about, guys. They make custom cups, hoodies, keychains, t-shirts. They made me this custom CM Punk tumbler, which I have on every show because I fucking love it, and I'm a huge Punk mark. I'll admit it. It keeps my cold drinks cold, hot drinks hot, and it's great for doing shows. I'm sitting here for an hour. I got a nice big drink, keeps it cold the whole show. Guys, check out A-Rock Designs. They do a great product for an amazing price. So make sure you go check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and arockdesigns.com. Next up is Signal Studios. Now, Signal Studios is that recording studio that, again, I'm always bragging about these sponsors because they're that damn good. Now, Signal Studios, if you're an independent professional wrestler, you need a really cool entrance music. You need something cool, something hip, something rad, something, badass to come to the ring with. Well, you know what? If you hit up Signal Studios, they can mix, master, produce any kind of track that you want. You let them know they work with amazing bands such as the Cicadas, who provide the entrance song for my show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. So, shout out to those guys. And you know what? Signal Studios can mix and get this track to you out anywhere in the world. It's that simple. Guys, check them out at signalstudios.com.au. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But guys, look, there's been so much been going on this week. We've had quite a few shows. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow because tomorrow is Angel Medina's show, Killing the Business, which will be on at 10 a.m. our time. So make sure to check that out. But guys, I'm going to bring out the guest of this evening, Mr. Matt Gage. Gagey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. You know what? Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man, and sacrificing your Friday night. I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, it's all good. I was only going to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I've been watching that lately, but I watched it beforehand anyway. I will say I really like the intro you gave yourself, the bald, the beard, and the beautiful. That was,
hey, man,
I like that.
It's a gimmick, bro. I'm trying to work the gimmick, man. So I've been had to lose the hair, so it's
the sacrifice we make for the gimmick.
Hey, bro, I was balding, man, so I just embraced it, so it's, what happens when you get old, bro. You just got to enjoy it. But man, look, again, I'm really glad to have you on because, like I said in the intro, I hadn't seen a great deal of your work up until probably a couple of months ago when I saw your promo. And to be honest, man, not to blow smoke, I'm a very straight up sort of person. I really dug your promo, man. I thought it, against Robbie Eagles, you were going up against, probably one of the best wrestlers to come out of Australia, if we're being honest. And, an international star signed to New Japan. And, to be a guy like yourself, who's a young wrestler, to have that opportunity with a match against someone like that would definitely be like an elevation step. When you did that promo, were you trying to prove a point? Because it kind of felt like you were really in that moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of promos before, obviously, and I think the past year before that promo, a lot of my promos have been very comedy style that hadn't had a lot of serious points in them. They've just been, funny joke, here's my next match.
Yeah.
And before that, when I first debuted, I just had completely serious promos, which ended up turning out completely shit because it was just, I don't know. But with this promo, it was my first big singles match. So I wanted it to. I wanted to have my character in the promo, like the whole funny kind of charismatic sort of thing, but also kind of still have a lot of serious points in it, so people could take me seriously, because it is Robbie Eagles. Like, I don't really feel like if I went in there with jokes, people were going to want to see that match, because I don't think it'd be believable for me to beat Robbie Eagles. So it's, yeah, a lot of it I felt very like passionate about, because it was an opportunity that I felt like I've been working towards for a while, and it was really cool to have that opportunity eventually come.
Yeah, and like I said, you could definitely see that passion coming through that promo, and to me, like I thought, wow, who's Matt Gage? Where can I find more of this guy? I want to see some matches, and then I started sort of expanding into it, because every wrestling fan, whenever they kind of see something new, they're like, what is this? And then they want to dig a little bit deeper, and I was able to see a couple of your matches, and you know, your ring style, as how the character of Matt Gage is, you know what I mean? Like, it meshes so well together, but it's like a very, at points, aggressive style. You know what I mean? Like, when you have those moments of like, almost like bursts that I've seen in some of the matches. Is that sort of intentional, the way that you've wanted to do that with the character in the burst, and having that sort of anger where it just sort of comes out in those short little moments?
Yeah, especially lately. I've been doing a lot of seminars with Crackerjack, and he's been talking to me about comedy wrestling and how to still do some comedy, but kind of move away and evolve that character, and when to turn that character into more of like a serious thing. So when I turn it up in the matches, that's the point where I change the pace, and how I really want to change how people perceive me in that match, to be like, oh, so this guy can win. He's not just here to make jokes. Yeah. So it's really just, I've been trying to work on it a bit more recently, just because I really want to evolve my character into something that can really play to any spot on the card.
Yeah. And, when you started, what did you envision your character to be at the start of it? Like, what was the main sort of thought? What did you want your objective to be as a character when you first started?
Oh, so it's, so when I first started, it was, I don't know if you've seen you ended up looking at any of my earlier shit. Hopefully you didn't, because it's really bad. But
hey man, we all got to start somewhere, bro.
But it was supposed to be this really, not really serious, but still kind of serious character. Talk straight, just kind of to the point, kind of creepy, but not like over the top or anything.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be a heel, but I got it, the whole idea from, you seen The Greatest Showman, like the movie?
Yeah.
So I got the ringmaster idea from that, and I did a few promos, and I felt like it just wasn't working, just because I didn't feel like anyone was taking me seriously. I didn't feel comfortable with what I was doing. It just didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was in my element. And I think once I became like more comfortable in front of a crowd is when I kind of went a bit over the top with everything, and kind of tried to let myself feel it a bit more, instead of following like a real serious, tightly wound script.
And what was the fan reaction when you were doing that character at the start?
It was all right. Like, I was still getting my boos, but it wasn't like what it is now. Like, even when I've recently turned face on like the Suplex shows, but even when I was a heel, there was still a few cheers. The crowd was kind of 50-50. When I first debuted, a lot of people were either booing me, or they were like, who the hell is this guy? Like, why should we care about this guy? Yeah. I got a lot of Willy Wonka chants in my first promo, and that's stuck with me the entire time. That's the one thing that hasn't changed. And it's, that you still get chants like yeah. I was on the way to a Sydney show a couple weekends ago, and my dad asked me if I get the Willy Wonka chants up there, and I told him no, thankfully. And then that night, I got the Willy Wonka chance. So
Hey, you know what? It's not a bad thing though. Like, you look back over the years of some of the stuff that other wrestlers have had shit chanted at them, like Christian being
yeah,
called a creepy little bastard. Like,
Guy
and the
Rocky
grand,
Guy.
yeah, well, exactly, man. So like I suppose Willy Wonka's not too bad, but the ringmaster style of gimmick and that real showman. Was it hard for you to sort of originally sort of burst that out straight away? Like, did it sort of take time for you to sort of get to the confidence of it to do it? Like, obviously, performing in front of a crowd, no matter if it's public speaking or professional wrestling, whatever it is, major stressful when you've got so many people just eyes on you.
Yeah. So it definitely did take a lot of time. Like my first few appearances were just promos, and you could like tell on the mic. I did the promo, and then I went backstage, and I was like, someone came up to me, and they were like, "Were you nervous?" And I was like, "No, not really." And then they told me, and then they showed me the video back, and I was literally shaking, and you could tell my voice was like really shaky. So I was
Wow.
always very nervous, and like it took a while to get that confidence level up. So I think it was just kind of trying to not block the crowd out, but I'm trying to find the word for it, but not block the crowd out, but kind of be like, they're here to boo
Don't
me.
focus in on it. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
don't.
focus in on it. Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't like me, that's the point, I guess, because I was a heel when I was doing it. So I just kind of let loose a bit more. And I kind of went into this mindset of like sink or swim. Like if I wasn't good, I was just either way. If I couldn't be either bad shit, I needed to be like as good as I could be with my character. Otherwise, people are just not going to believe it at all. So once I got into that mindset is when I really started to go over the top with everything and started getting way more confident.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like once you find that sort of footing and that sort of level, I think
Yeah.
it's then off to the races. And once you have like the character down, and your sort of style of character, it's not sort of a commonly seen thing with the whole ringmaster style get up. You know what I mean? Like maybe
Yeah.
it's something similar has been done here and there, but nothing that really sort of sticks to mind. And I think it's good to be original in that aspect as well, because I've said this a million times before. Things in pro wrestling have been recycled hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Whether gimmicks, match moves, or whatever it may be. And when I see something original, I really sort of grasp towards it because I'm like, oh, I haven't seen something like this before. What made you decide the ringmaster sort of style? Was it just because of the showman aspect of it?
Yeah. It was very much the showman aspect of it. Originally I was just supposed to be a manager
Mhm.
because I was absolutely terrible with wrestling ability. So for like the first couple of things was just the segments and promos was just leading to me managing this guy called Roswell. And I was just going to follow him around until I got used to a crowd until I could get in the ring. And I fast tracked that. But yeah, the showman gimmick was just to kind of compliment another guy. And so, what was the question again? I feel like I've completely went off track with my answer.
No, just how you came up with the ringmaster style of performer. Was it because of the
Oh, yep.
showmanship of that? Yeah.
Yeah. It was very much because of the showmanship of it. I felt like I couldn't do like back flips and front flips perfectly and do like springboards and everything. And I felt like the thing that I could do the best was just showmanship and just
Mm.
character work. So I tried to focus on that more. And I was like, oh, what's the best thing for like a showman? And immediately thought in my mind was an actual showman. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, right. And with that as well, and to where you've got the confidence that you have now, do you find it, now that you said you're a baby face, that you've just did a baby face turn, how do you find the difference between having the heel aspect of it and the baby face aspect of it? Like where's the differences?
I there's not a lot of differences I felt because I've only had one match as a babyface, to be fair, but that turn, it didn't really feel like there was much difference to me, and which I liked. Is just the anger and the hate that I was directing towards the crowd was just more directed towards my opponents now instead. And I felt like I already had that connection with the crowd. It was just trying to get that extra push for them to cheer me instead. Because
and all it was is change that focus of the anger from the audience to the opponent. And if you're going up against someone who is a another big good heel, then
easy. It was just at the point where it was like, instead of getting them to be entertained by me falling on my ass, it was getting them to be entertained by me making my opponent fall on their ass, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. 100%. And, the fact that those little intricacies are like, it's almost like they're so simple, but like it's so many times, like a lot of times that you've seen like performers do that switch, it just sort of, ends badly. But, it seems like you really understand that sort of aspect of it, and even just the fine intricacies of it.
Yeah. It is very much a trial and error sort of thing. But I feel like what I have kind of works. I still try to experiment with what I have, and some of it still doesn't work. Sometimes it just fails miserably, and I have to kind of call it on the fly to try to save it. But yeah, there's a lot of intricacies. I'll get it. Intricacies to it. Yeah.
And how did you when you first started getting into wrestling, was your family supportive of you going and getting into it? Like, were they fans of wrestling like you were? Like, obviously you were a fan.
Yeah. I was a big fan, and it was my little brother that got me into it. He brought home SmackDown versus Raw 2006, and I had no idea what wrestling was or WWE. Yeah, amazing. And I had no idea that it was actually real. I just thought it was a video game. Wow. Then I found out. Yep, I had no idea, and I always played as Ray, Big Show, and Taker. And nice. I just thought they were just made up characters. And then I found out Fox 8 had it on TV, and I was like, WWE Raw. I thought that was just a video game. And I turned that on, and I got like absolutely hooked ever since. And my parents picked it up, and they were pretty cool with me watching it. So when I did it, when I told them I wanted to start training, they were pretty supportive of it. They just wanted me to have something else that I'm doing as well. So I'm at uni at the moment. So as long as I've got like a job and everything, they're happy for me to do anything I want, which is cool.
Man, that is pretty cool that, how you actually got into it and obviously how you became a fan. But, so 2006, was it 2006 was the year that you sort of actually found wrestling?
Actually, it was, he brought it home, I think, in like 2010. He got the game from like the bargain bin because it was cheap, and he brought it home and we started playing it together. So yeah, it was around 2010. Because I remember when I found out about Raw, the Nexus was just all over the place.
Wow, that's your first memory of wrestling.
Yep, the Nexus.
Damn, I feel old, bro. Like, wow. Wow. And what a time to come in, because that was probably one of, at that time, one of the best angles that they had in a couple of years.
Yeah. Like, I think around the time that I got in, it wasn't their debut, but it was around the time that Chris Jericho quit. And I knew about Chris Jericho, and I watched one of his matches, and I was like, this guy's really cool. And then the next night he quit. So I was super bummed out about that because I didn't get to see any of his matches. But yeah, always thought that getting into wrestling to a video game was always like pretty cool, because that's how that's how I got my name as well, from like the little announcements that they have in the 2K games now.
Yeah.
Like, and they had Matt, and then I'll try to look for the closest thing to my shoot name for my last name, and it was Gage. So
yeah, right. and like, you know, so getting into wrestling, and you mentioned Chris Jericho, and it's interesting that you mentioned Jericho because I kind of sort of see some similarities in certain aspects of your ring style, but also your character and the showmanship of it as well.
That's the
Is
biggest
Jericho
compliment
been?
I've ever gotten.
Is Jericho like been a major influence to you?
Not really, actually. I think my biggest influences are my all-time favorite is Rey Mysterio, but I can't do any of his stuff. So I think my biggest influences are Roddy Piper and Dalton Castle, who I
Dalton
take the most
Castle.
from, I think. Yep.
That was another one because his sort of gimmick is very similar. Like not similar, but it's like more, not the ringmaster, but the more openly sort of flamboyant sort of, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like very colorful aspect, which there's the similarities with yourself. But
Yeah.
no, for me, I saw that sort of, a couple of similarities to sort of like a Jericho in there as well. So I that was one of the things I wanted to ask you if he was an influence, but
Yeah. I've watched like a lot of Jericho, so I've probably taken a lot from him unconsciously as well.
yeah, no, 100%. But you mentioned Rey Mysterio as being one of your favorites that you were a big fan of at the start. When you got into wrestling, was your goal to sort of wrestle like a luchador sort of style? Like, is that what you
Yeah.
wanted to do?
Yeah, I wanted to be a high flyer. I wanted to be exactly like Rey Mysterio. And then I think I saw a shooting star press in person. I was like, no, not doing it. That scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, like seeing it in person and seeing it on TV is like two completely different things.
Yep.
It's like seeing someone take like a ridiculous bump from like or something, a ridiculously high bump, I should say, and then seeing that in person as opposed to seeing it on TV. Like in person, you're like, oh fuck, please don't die.
Yep. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Hey, spot on.
Yeah, it's just like just Jesus. But so you saw the 450. Was that with the moment when you were like, all right, so I'm going to try and change a different style here? And how did you go towards the style that you have now? Like, what was the sort of culmination and brought that sort of together, the in-ring work?
Well, it didn't really start till I started training, and then I started watching guys like Roddy Piper and Dalton Castle and seeing what they do in the ring, because they're not like big high flyers or big luchadors, but they still have that cool kind of wrestling style, and that's what I try to bring together with what I have. I don't try to brawl like as much, but just kind of like a straight kind of standard wrestling style. At the moment, I'm trying to get into a bit more chain, but we'll see how that goes.
Man, good chain wrestling can be amazing. It's
Yeah.
hands down. But being a showman and that showman style of character that you have is storylines and promos a big favorite part of the aspect of professional wrestling for you? And like, do you like the fact of being able to tell like a storyline over a period of time?
Yeah. Like my favorite part of wrestling is just the storytelling. Like even with just a one match, I feel like it's really cool just to tell the one story within a match. And I feel like with an over the top character, it's even more easier to tell like just a one match long story. But when I get those storylines and programs and promos, it's even cooler because I have something to sink my teeth into a bit more. I can really, whenever I get that storyline, I feel like I can really get a chance to develop and evolve my character a bit more.
Yeah.
Like I think I wanted the Robbie loss to accumulate to something, and I convinced the booker to take a chance and turn me face. So that was a cool moment for me.
And how did you do? And you said the turn earlier that it was just directing the anger from the crowd to the opponent. How did you do that? Like, how did you portray that? Was it through a promo? Was it towards the walk to the ring? Walk me through how you did the turn.
I did not like like a straightforward promo before the show. I think it was, I just edited a little video package that had a few highlights from the Robbie match and me losing and everything like that. And then for the next match we had on that show, it was just a tag match. And usually my entrances are very energetic and very charismatic.
Mhm.
So I decided to come out real depressed. Like I was sad. I was just going to walk to the ring and just do absolutely nothing, have no energy at all, and just act like I didn't want to be there. And I think from what I was told and what I felt, the crowd really was like, oh shit, what's happening here? He's normally like that. Because we have a lot of the same occurring crowd that always usually comes back. So they know all my stuff. So it was nice to have that work. And then at the start of the match, I laid on my back and I told the opponent to pin me. And then I rolled him up. And I think that's when the crowd really started getting really excited. And I felt like that was the moment I turned face.
Yeah, like, but the thing was, it was like doing that heel tactic, but then,
Yep.
you know what I mean, getting the face react. Yeah,
I watched a lot of Eddie Guerrero right before that match.
Dude, like, but, you know, how many years have you been wrestling for at the moment?
Oh, I think 2 years.
Yeah, right. And who helped you bring that story to light and help with the turn? Was it all you that came up with that, how to do it and that sort of thing?
Well, it was the booker, Spade, so I have to credit the booker. But I think me and my tag partner were really pushing for it at the time. And it was me and my tag partner that were like talking about it for a while. My tag partner, Miles Malice, that is. And we really wanted something to freshen up what we were doing. So we went to the booker and we're like, hey, do you mind taking a chance on us, turning us face and seeing what we can do? If it doesn't work, we'll cut a promo and we'll turn heel immediately afterwards. But we really think it's going to work. And he was like, yeah, sure, you can do it. And me and my partner, we put up this game plan of what we were going to do. He decided that he was going to come out all energetic. Like he usually just walks to the ring all sad and depressed. But this time we switched roles. And we had a game plan and we're grateful that it worked. So yeah, it was me and my partner that talked about it for a few months beforehand.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, the crowd got the both of you switching the roles into that. Man, that is fucking cool.
Yeah.
That is well done. Well,
Thank you.
you know what I mean? That is a really well told, good story that's been told well. And that's the thing, man. That is well done. Like,
thank you.
Makes me want to come down and check out a Suplex show, man. To be honest, it's you know, that's really well done. And you know, is longer term storyline something that you're looking to do more of?
Not so much longer term storylines, because I get like a lot of things change over time. Like things happen, people pull out, so a lot of booking and storylines have to change. So I think what I really like to do is just character involvement and character development. So just changing things up with my character, like, oh, if I win this match, I'll start doing this. And if I lose this match, I'll start doing this, just to add some little things for people who are watching and like paying that little close attention to everything. So yeah, I think my big thing is just character development and involvement, which I'm trying to get a bit better at myself. Yeah,
I mean, dude, 2 years in, and from what you've been able to tell me, dude, I'm blown away. Of, you know, I would have thought you've been in wrestling for a lot longer. Just hearing sort of how you've been able to do certain things, dude. Like, no, absolutely, man. But you know, starting, you know, when you're just starting out, did you have, you know, big dreams and goals when you first started getting in and taking those first bumps of where you wanted to go? Like, was it, you know, did you have stars in your eyes at that time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, I want to make it. I want to get signed somewhere one day. The main thing is I just want to make a living out of it, I think. Because, you know, if you do something you love, you don't really work a day in your life. So that's the biggest goal. But I think the next goal that I have is just, I really want to work in Melbourne, which is the biggest goal for mine at the moment, because my best friend lives in Melbourne, and I really would like them to see me wrestle live. So I think ever since I started, that was the next big step for me. But even then, I want to keep getting on bigger shows and keep progressing as much as I can.
Dude, Melbourne is a great place to go. I mean, Melbourne wrestling is absolutely amazing right now, and the promotions that are coming out of Melbourne, even a couple of new ones, which are doing different styles of things as well. Like, I think Melbourne is a hotbed for professional wrestling at the moment,
Yeah,
man. And
it's a talk of the
even
town at the moment.
dude, absolutely. You look at the promotions there and the quality of performances that they're putting out. It's, I'm spewing. I'm in Sydney, so not spewing because Sydney we put on there's some pretty great shows that get put on here as well. But Melbourne, again, Melbourne and Sydney are just doing things at a different level. That no other states. Or I think the other states are doing it, but there's multiple promotions doing it here in Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the promotions that you'd hopefully like to work for moving forward?
Well, obviously any promotion in Melbourne, but I've just started training with Nui Pro, the House of Free Fighting. I started that this week, which is really cool. I love it so much. It's so learning amazing things, and I think obviously my main goal there is just to get better and progress, but I really would like to get on their shows as well. I don't know how long that's going to take me because I would like to be up to their standards before I do anything. But yeah, I think Nui Pro, PWA, MCW, Deathmatch Down Under, any of those places, because those are like the top places at the moment. And EPW, which I always find really, really cool. But yeah, those are the top places at the moment.
And dude, training down in UE Pro, man, like they have some amazing talent down there with Headhunter Rig and Dazza and Charlie Evans is originally from there as well, and this and also Jess Troy, just amazing talent that's come out of there, and same with PWA, MCW, and Deathmatch Down Under is just one of those promotions which just has hit the ground running at 100 mile an hour and just doing spectacular things, so I think if you could get on any of those shows, man, would definitely be a huge elevation,
Yeah, definitely.
But like when you did start, was it like the goal was for you WWE, and being 2 years in now, has certain goals changed at all?
Yeah, I feel like the goal was just WWE, but now it's kind of evolved into just trying to make a living out of it. Like if I never get to WWE, that's okay, as long as I try to get to the point where I'm like, it's a job for me. Like I'm working for it. I don't have to do anything else. That's the biggest goal.
100%. And that's you've even heard, some of the greats say that, if you're not in the business to get to the top level, then you shouldn't be in it, so, which, you can agree to disagree, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with having to do this as a hobby if that's the way you want to do it. But, like I said, it's, having that goal and ambition, man, it's important to have, because that's the standard of where you want to get to. So and that's an important aspect. But who are some of the guys? You've worked with Robbie Eagles recently. Who are some of the other guys around the country that you'd like to get in there and you think you'd have a good match with?
I think there's a lot of guys that I really want to get in there with. I think 2 or 3 at the moment are big character guys. I think that's Mick Moretti, Rap Daddy, and Crackerjack. And then there's other 3 guys who I did the EPW course with at the beginning of the year, and that was Davis Storm, Damian Slater, and Gavin McGavin. I feel like just being in the ring with any of those 6 guys I'd really learn just a ton.
Oh man. I mean, look, no doubt, dude. No doubt. And, to be able to get that experience, like I said, it just gives you that more opportunity to sort of grow your career and sort of take that learning tree. But who was your first trainer when you first got into the business?
It was Jackson Spade. at Suplex.
Jackson. And okay, so you've basically started your career at Suplex and then started to branch out into other promotions. But you
Yep.
know, when you first started out there and you first took that first bump, was it like what you expected, or was it like, oh shit, that actually quite hurt? Yeah, because people tell various different stories of that first moment.
Well, when Suplex started out, it was a boxing ring. So
Ooh.
our first bumps were in a boxing ring. So that was never fun, I'll say. But yeah, and I had this thing where I never breathed out for like the first few months of when I bumped. So every time I bumped, I was just incredibly winded on a boxing ring, no less. So it wasn't,
Oh, so that,
yeah,
yeah, with no give to it at all.
no give at all.
Jesus, man, fuck. That's just cruel, bro. How long into it till they got you guys a wrestling ring to bump in?
Okay, so it was I think it was once we got enough trainees. I think when we hit the ground running and we got enough money, we ended up getting, I think, so 4 months in, we started getting a crash pad for training, which was better. And we just bumped on that all the time. And then I think a year in is when we got like a full shed and a full training ring, an actual training ring.
Yeah, right. And how is the difference in bumping in that compared to
Amazing.
the boxing ring?
Absolutely amazing.
But I suppose like by starting in a boxing ring and bumping in something like that, you gain more respect for the business, though. I'd
Yeah.
imagine like you'd be more like, you know, a lot of people I've spoken to have said, yeah, they went in there and they just didn't have respect for the business, and then they took the first bump and got the shit beaten out of them, and then they realized, okay, like this is a serious thing, like you got to take it seriously, and you know, fell in love with it, and then obviously, you know, went from there. But you know, once you started training, how long was it before you started getting on shows? Like, how much training did you have before you started to get booked?
I think it was about a year, because when I first started, I was very uncoordinated. I had like 2 left feet. I was going everywhere. I didn't know what I was doing. So it took me a while to just get the hang of my coordination. So I think it was about a year, maybe a year and a half, until I was able to get on shows and start having matches.
Wow. And, you know, in that training aspect of it, you know, like, were you learning just like the basics and then sort of like doing practice matches for a lot of the time? Like, what was the sort of training like for you? Like, you know, you mentioned like the footwork and picking things up took you a little while.
Yeah.
You know, was there moments of frustration in that time?
Yeah, there was plenty, because I was always training with the batch of students that I came in with, and they were always progressing like incredibly faster than me. So I was getting very frustrated with myself at how I was progressing. Not at them at all,
No.
but just I felt like that I should and could be doing better, and I just wasn't. So there was a lot of frustration there. And I think when the opportunity to be able to come on a show was presented to me, I think that's when I kind of woke up something, and then I started hitting a lot of things much better and much smoother. I think was a big wake up call for me.
Do you think
But
like
yeah,
getting that opportunity to be on a show was either added pressure, or you felt like, okay, I can do this. If they're giving me this opportunity, obviously I can do it, and you just felt more relaxed at training?
I think both. I think because my coach was like, if you show that you can do all this stuff, then we'll put on a show. Then we'll put you on a show. And then I was like, oh, okay, so me getting on a show can actually happen. Because at first I was like, oh, I'm shit. I'm never gonna get on a show. And then he was like, if you can do all this, then we'll put you on a show and see how you go. I think that was a big wake up call. I think that was the big push and motivation I needed to get better, I guess. And something, I don't know, something was awoken in me, and I started getting a lot more better with my footwork and coordination and everything.
And how long, once they told you that, till the moment that you actually went out and performed? Like, what was the time frame there?
I think 3 months. I think it was 3 months.
Yeah, right. And did you what were some of the things that they wanted to see from you?
It was just the basic stuff looking really crisp. It was just they wanted me to see, they wanted me to try like everything, even like everything at advanced nights, because usually they wanted me to come off the top rope, and usually I'd be just scared shitless of doing that. And then finally I started doing that, and then they wanted me to do training matches and see how I went in training matches, and ended up doing pretty well in the training matches. And they didn't give me the training matches until they were like, okay, we might put you on shows. And once I got those training matches, I think was when I felt more comfortable in my ability to do everything.
Yeah, and I think as well, like actually going through and having a training match and running through that at least sort of gives you, obviously for a trainee, that opportunity to sort of see how they can put everything together into a match.
Yeah.
But yeah, did they want to see character from you as well, or was it just only in ring?
I think it was only in ring.
Mm.
I think I added the character stuff myself later on, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's a cool character. We'll try that."
So it's
Then,
not
yeah.
like the guy you were having the practice match with is just like rolls in the ring and then you're like, all right, just hold on a sec, press play on this and just give me a second and walk out
I think
strutting to the tracks.
yeah, I think it was they just filmed them like have a match, and we were circling, and I was like, I feel really weird just circling around the ring. So I started doing all this weird shit, this over the top crap that I didn't know where it came from. I started doing it, and I think that's where the character started coming from.
But that's the thing, man. You got to do things to get noticed, and by doing that, you obviously grab the attention of of your trainers to go, okay, there's something to work with here. Like we've got something to go off. Like there's some basics there. But did you find like 3 months after being told that, were you like every month going, hey, look at me, am I doing it right, or were you like just letting them come to you and giving you updates?
I was consistently asking for feedback. I enjoy if people come to me and tell me all these things, but I really like affirming that I'm doing everything right, and I don't need to work on this and I can move on, or if I need to work on this a bit more. So yeah, I was definitely like, oh, okay, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? What can I do to make myself better?
Yeah. And that, I think by even that, it's like, you have the overall goal of, wanting to be in the business, and by then trying to get better. Like if there's something you want to do, whether, you have to be able to look for feedback from obviously people that are your trainers and mentors and stuff like that, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to learn, by hearing it. And as long as getting good honest feedback, which sometimes can be a little bit more of a sting to the ego than stuff that you want to hear at times, but I can only imagine by getting that you've taken it on board to get to where you are now, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even with that feedback thing, I mean, even just this week, I've been getting feedback from like Adam Hoffman, Carter Deems, Headhunter Rig, Shane Sheffield Sinclair, and Jackson Spade back at Suplex. It's all been really surreal to me. Like even just getting feedback from like such a large number of guys, it feels like I'm accelerating at such an alarming rate for myself, which is really cool to me.
And that's a good thing, man. Like, you've got some, quite a good bunch of guys there that are giving you some feedback and trying to help you along. And that's amazing, dude. Like that's a huge accomplishment. But, what do you see, for the next 12 months for you, like going for the rest, or let's say the rest of 2021, what are some things you'd like to achieve by the end of this year?
It's not so much on shows where my focus is at the moment. I think it's just training. I want to, just because we were off for like a while during COVID, and I think when we came back, I lost a bit of motivation. But I think with so much training around me now, I think I just want to put my head down and train for the rest of the year and see how far I can go with just how good I can get.
Oh, 100%. And, like I said, it's probably a wise thing to do that as well, man, considering that we did have such a big sort of period where everything was sort of locked down and shut out, that now you can sort of at least pick back up. And, obviously, you're young enough to be able to do that. So, but look, guys, it is getting to that time where we are going to run into our game of, you know what it is, 60 seconds with Piers. I've explained how this is to Matt Gage. Now, how it's going to work is I'm going to fire off a bunch of random ass fucking questions at Mr. Gage, which mean absolutely nothing. And he's going to tell me and he's going to answer them. So when you're ready, you let me know and I will start the clock, kind sir.
Okay, I'm ready.
What TV series can you watch over and over?
The Office.
What is your go-to drink on a night out?
Jack Daniels.
Worst job you ever had?
It's my current job, so I'm not going to say it just in case I get in trouble.
Which Chris is hotter, Hemsworth, Evans, or Pratt?
Hemsworth.
Favorite holiday destination?
Melbourne.
Okay, that was going to be the next one. So, okay, favorite song to sing at karaoke?
Oh, Daydream Believer by the Monkees.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
How do you take your coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
If you came with a warning label, what would it say?
Don't feed coffee.
Favorite zoo animal?
Meerkat.
What would you, if you could ask Vince McMahon one question, what would it be?
Can I have a job?
Stop. that is the most perfect answer I've ever heard anyone say. that is amazing. Matt, thank you so much for coming on Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, man, and I definitely want to get you on again. No problem, man. Where can everyone find you, bro?
It's Matt Gage on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
There you go, guys. Make sure to head over to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Give Matt a follow. Check a thumbs up. Send out a message to him. Say that you found him or you've watched him here on Shooting the Shit Uncensored, and give him a thumbs up. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Matt, thanks again. Really appreciate your time, guys. Until next time. Anytime, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Australian time for Killing the Business with ECW original Angel Medina. He's going to have a guest on, and that guest is Alan Kwee Funk from WCW. So they're going to be talking about a lot of shit, and they're going to be killing the business with something. So, guys, tune in for that. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace.